Okay, let's dive in. We're doing a deep dive today into a really short but, wow, incredibly vivid passage, Isaiah chapter 4.
Yeah, it's short but packs a punch.
Totally. And our mission here is really to unpack the intense imagery, the powerful ideas in just these few verses, and maybe pull out some surprising bits.
Sounds good.
It hits you right away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This opening image, 7 women grabbing onto one man. I mean, what is going on there?
Well, it's fascinating because it immediately throws you into this scene of, like, total societal collapse, desperation.
Right.
The text paints this extreme picture where women who, usually relied on men for status, for provision in that culture,
Sure.
they're suddenly so numerous compared to the men who've survived whatever happened, war, judgment, that you've got 7 competing for just one guy.
7 to 1. Wow.
And they're even offering to be totally self-sufficient. Like, we'll get our own food, our own clothes.
Just let us use your name.
Exactly. Just for that social identity, the security of being linked to him, to take away their disgrace, as the text puts it. It's just a stark, almost shocking image of devastation.
Okay, so the starting point is absolute breakdown, utter desperation. But then the text just flips, doesn't it? It makes this incredible pivot.
It really does.
Suddenly it's talking about the branch of the Lord being beautiful and glorious. And the fruit of the land is the pride of the survivors in Israel. It feels like whiplash, from despair straight to hope. So who are these survivors, and what exactly is this branch that pops up here?
Yeah, this is where you see that paradox. Hope coming right out of destruction. The branch of the Lord. Well, that's a really powerful prophetic image.
Pointing to something later.
Often, yes. Pointing towards a future righteous ruler, many see it as a messianic figure who's going to bring restoration. And the fruit of the land being glorious specifically for the survivors. That signals renewed blessing, but importantly, only for a specific group.
Okay, not for everyone who was there before.
Right. And the chapter tells us who. Those who are left in Zion who remain in Jerusalem. It's all about the remnant.
Ah, the remnant. That concept again. The ones who actually made it through the disaster. And the text says something pretty specific about them, about what they'll be called.
Exactly. They are called holy. It says, all who are recorded among the living in Jerusalem, those who survived and are counted for, will be called holy.
So it's not just about, physically surviving. It sounds like something more.
Definitely. It implies a divine act. God preserved them, and he consecrates them, sets them apart.
But wait a second. How do they get holy? After all that judgment, the desperation we saw at the start. Because the text then describes this really intense purification. It says, the Lord will wash away the filth of the women of Zion and cleanse the bloodstains from Jerusalem by a spirit of judgment and a spirit of fire. I mean, that sounds incredibly harsh, almost terrifying. Is that how holiness happens?
Yeah.
Through severity.
It does sound severe, I get that. But if you look at the bigger picture in prophecy, judgment and fire aren't always just about destruction. Often they're metaphors for purification, refining.
Like burning away impurities.
Precisely. The spirit of judgment and spirit of fire is the divine method, the necessary intensity, you could say, to remove that deep impurity, the filth, the bloodstains, representing sin, guilt.
Okay.
From the people and the city itself. It's like a refining fire burning off the dross. It's essential to reach that state of being holy for the remnant. It's painful, yeah, but it leads to transformation.
Okay. So the judgment isn't just punishment. It's the actual fiery process that creates this cleansed, holy remnant.
Yeah.
Got it. And then what? What happens after they're cleansed, after they're called holy? The chapter ends with this amazing picture of God's presence and like total protection.
That's right. The text says the Lord will actually create over all of Mount Zion and over those who assemble there a cloud of smoke by day and a glow of flaming fire by night.
That sounds familiar.
It's meant to. It's a direct, powerful callback to how God led and protected Israel in the wilderness, the pillar of cloud and fire. It shows God dwelling right there with them again, visibly present. And then, over all this glory, there's a canopy.
A canopy, like a covering. What does that do for them?
The text is really specific. It says, it will be a shelter and shade from the heat of the day and a refuge and hiding place from the storm and rain.
Okay, so practical protection.
Exactly. After they've gone through that fire of judgment and cleansing, this remnant gets this promise of God's personal, constant, visible protection from whatever comes next, represented by heat, storms, hardship. They're safe, sheltered under his glory.
So if we pull it all together then, this short chapter, Isaiah 4, what's the core journey it takes us on?
Well, in just these few verses, it moves you from the scene of utter despair and social collapse through a really necessary, intense process of fiery judgment, which is also cleansing and lands you in a future of holiness, security, and God's visible protection for a faithful remnant. It describes this profound transformation, almost a paradox, where hope isn't just after the fire, but somehow found within that very process of purification.
That's powerful. A picture of hope really emerging from devastation and transformation happening through the fire. It kind of leaves you thinking, doesn't it? How does this text suggest that maybe hope isn't just the thing waiting at the end of the hard times, but it's somehow woven into the painful process itself, something to maybe sit with?